First of all, I love the night of.
Oh, man.
Oh,
so
man.
do I. Thank you.
How good is that?
Fucking excellent, yo. Like, I love it. And I know just as much as you know. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like, we didn't get the whole script. So I'm sure only a handful of people really know what the result is going to be. So
Yeah.
I'm on the edge just like everybody else.
Hell of a story. Hell of an acting job from everyone. From the cops to the detective to Nas to the family to everyone.
Excellently cast. That's what that is. That's casting. Because I was watching even just certain little... Like, there was this one lady, she was like... Oh, yeah, they was online, right? And the father thought he can go online so that they could go visit him. Mm-hmm. But then the mother had to get online, too. And just the whole attitude of the lady that was like, tell her to get back online. It's just so authentic. Like they really hit the mark with this one.
Yeah, and like the whole... Sort of like the real like asshole quality of the
That's
NYPD.
what I'm talking about.
It
Just
was
the whole system.
Yeah, get back in the car. Don't worry about it. Shut up. And it's like, I remember NYPD talking to me like this for no apparent reason, just because they could.
And this is what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And just like when you go on a visit and all of that, like they want to make it an unpleasant experience.
Yeah.
You see, so that there'll be a disconnect between you and probably your family member, so that you won't want to go there. Yeah. You got to wait online 2 hours or some shit just to see somebody for, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever the case would be. Like, shit is crazy.
So speaking of KRS-One, he recently did a talk that was recorded. We put up the video, and they asked him about Africa Bambaataa. And KRS-One has been defending Africa Bambaataa in a couple of interviews. And he said that anyone who's a critic of Africa Bambaataa should quit hip-hop. He said our hip-hop leadership has to be untouchable. He says that some of hip-hop's leaders are infallible and should stay beyond disapproval, or else the culture will die.
Okay. I love KRS-One. He's my hip-hop elder. Okay? I came up looking up to him.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm not going to say anything except I don't agree. That's it. I'm not going to talk shit about KRS. I'm not going to, you know what I mean, get into all of that. I'm just going to say I don't agree with that statement.
I don't think any sort of leadership should be untouchable. I think that every man and woman has to be held accountable for their actions. Violating children is something that no culture agrees with, anywhere in the world. Yes, there's different, ages of consent and so forth, but whatever the age is in that area, to go below that age is frowned upon. Universally.
Well, some ages, some places, though, the age is pretty damn low, though.
Well, in the South, it goes down to like, 13, 14 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
And, like I've said before, Greek and Roman culture, there's a thing called pederasty, and that's strictly older man with a prepubescent boy. So what is that?
Yeah.
10, 11, 12? That's not cool, but that was accepted in those cultures. That was normal. That was some normal shit.
Well, in certain, more of like the hardcore Mormon societies, it's standard for the older men to have the younger girls, and what I'm saying, like a lot of that was covered in that show Big Love.
Mm-hmm.
On
HBO.
On HBO or Showtime. I forgot which one it was.
It was HBO, I think. Big Love, yeah. That was HBO.
And the standards are different, but whatever the standard is, to go younger than that standard is considered foul by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what happens with
although
this whole thing.
These young, these guys at the age that they said it happened would fall under that pederast age, You understand what I'm saying? For the people that are into that shit, that's the prime age that they was at. 15 or some shit like that.
That's how old they were?
Yeah, I think they was like 15, 16, 17, all around that area. You know what I mean? So, but still, that's a vulnerable age. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it was right or nothing like that. I'm just saying, like, in that pederast culture, that was a prime age for them. You know what I mean? They definitely didn't think they doing nothing wrong if they into that. But real quick, I just wanted to say, you know, there's a saying that says, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is why you can't have leadership that's
infallible,
untouchable, like, you know, because that can just lead to some crazy shit. Like, I mean, we were talking about Hitler a little while ago.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's the kind of power he had, that infallible, absolute power type shit. And look what the fuck that got motherfuckers.
Right. Look at, North Korea, and you look like Kim Jong-il, who died.
Right.
And I remember reading that he was actually the #1 individual consumer of Hennessy in the world. He would order just gallons and gallons. I heard he had baths filled with Hennessy.
Wow.
And just take,
Hennessy baths.
And,
That's
just
crazy.
Just wild shit.
Sting you?
Because he just, he had no limits. He could do whatever he wanted. He controlled the country. Heard he had little boys in there too, but, we'll never know about that.
Dunking him in the Hennessy. Yeah. Marco!
Polo. Oh, that's horrible, man. Drake versus Joe Budden. Joe Budden is on his 4th Drake diss song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, I heard the first one then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Drake had one line. He said, pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder. They don't own my stuff.
Okay.
And Joe dropped
Not even the greatest rhyme right there, but all
Not
right.
really. And then, I think he mentioned Joe Budden by name at one of his concerts. Oh, I should bring Joe Budden up here to pump it up. The pump it up will forever haunt him. I wonder if he even performs that anymore. I wonder if, like, at a Joe Budden concert, he plays Pump It Up.
Better fucking play Pump It Up. That's one of his biggest joints.
It's his biggest joint.
Yeah, how you not gonna play Pump It Up? Just because time has passed? That's you niggas. When you do a show, people don't want to hear no shit that they don't know.
Right.
Okay? Like, they want to hear the fucking shit that they could sing along to.
Right.
And all of that type of shit. Trust me, that's got to be his last song in the joint.
It better be.
And I'm not saying it out of disrespect. I'm just saying, like, you always go with your biggest shit. Like, the one that people really love. Like, that's like saying we don't do Slow Down or Punks Jump Up at a fucking show. You kidding me? Yeah. That's what they there for. Yeah. Like,
I'm going to perform my new shit that you've never heard of.
Exactly. Check it out. And motherfuckers hate that, yo. And I hate it. Like, I don't want to go there to see, especially somebody, an old school, somebody from the golden era, doing a new song that is subpar to their older shit. Now, if you got some new shit that's better than your old shit, and maybe we know it, then hey, by all means, play that shit. But if we've never heard this shit before, and you're not really as good as you used to be, why don't you just chill? Just chill. Just please. Just do the ones we know. Because I know you want to keep going and all, but not everybody could keep going. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So there is something to this new school, old school. Some people, they just use their shit up. Like, you know what I mean? They might have got on so many songs and they just run out of shit to say.
Yeah.
Or, some people get better with time and some people deteriorate over time.
Yeah, like Jay is still... Would you say Jay is better now than he used to be? Or do you think he just maintained? I would say maintained.
I think he's maintained. Yeah, he's definitely not better, but he's definitely maintaining. He's not...
He hasn't fallen off.
Nah. He still says some shit that it's like, okay, that's whole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, his prime was definitely, in the 90s.
Yeah, Reasonable Doubt. Yeah, I don't think he's done an album as good as Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most soulful, you know.
Magna Carta I thought was really dope, but it wasn't.
He had a lot of great albums.
Wasn't Reasonable Doubt.
He had a lot of great albums. But yeah, so
yeah, Joe did like 4 diss records.
I saw Joe at Avenue actually right after the first one. I think.
Yeah, he mentioned it when he did the interview with Charlemagne of the Brilliant Idiots.
Yeah.
You know, he claims he hates VladTV so much.
Oh, word.
I hate VladTV.
Oh,
I'm
word.
never gonna talk about him. But every other interview he talks about me. And in fact, when he saw you, he was giving you props for our interviews. So Joe Budden watches VladTV.
Or at least Lord Jamar on VladTV.
Still VladTV.
Exactly. Take it how you can get it.
Yeah, Joe's a special one, man. I think like he hates me so much, but he follows everything I do.
Listen, let it go, man. Like hate is an energy that's hard to sustain.
I know.
You know what I mean? You got to keep feeding it. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you keep doing so. So now you might be feeding it right now, though, by talking about them.
A little bit, but here's the thing. Because it's so one-sided. I have no animosity towards Joe at all. Like, do you know how much money Joe Budden has made me? Like, oh my God. A lot.
Oh.
A lot.
Oh, okay.
Indirectly.
I thought you was going to say none, so why would I care?
No, I mean, in fact, here's the funny part is that the way, like, VladTV first, like, kind of viral hit was when he was beefing with Ransom, you know, and we were sort of in the middle of covering all that. We're like the only ones covering it, and it kind of spun out of control. Then Ransom gave me this video where he ran up on Joe Budden's man's house and stuff like that. And that video was the one that SRC Records saw. Gabi from SRC Records saw it, and like he said it was like the greatest shit he'd ever seen. And they reached out to me and brought me into the Universal building and everything else like that. So it's all I'm saying, it's all
Gabi.
Yeah, it's all Joe Budden. Like I mean, like Joe Budden helped me to get to where I am now. So how can I be mad at him?
Yeah,
like
you should be friends.
It's great. He's always welcome to come. Here he'll never do it. He claims he hates me and.
Listen, things change. Give it a year or so.
Oh, it's been like 8 years now. And I know Joe's listening to this right now.
Well,
I know he's sitting behind his computer, angry.
Joe, come on.
Well, I think he's.
I know you're a good dude, man. Just Vlad's a good dude. Let it go, man. Whatever the fuck it was, man. It is what it is, man. Let's go out and fucking party or some shit, man. Drink some Hennessy in one of these clubs, man.
I don't mind. Like I said, it's so one-sided. Like I never feel this way about him. And the thing is, there's certain people that I don't like that have said certain things and so forth that we just don't cover on the site. Like my staff members have a list of people that we don't cover, good or bad.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's certain people that I felt I've helped out and they've turned around and did some shit that I didn't really agree with. So I just tell my staff, well, I'm not gonna pay to help promote this person. So good or bad, you'll just never see them on the site. They can do the craziest shit in the world. I know it'll get a ton of views. We just won't cover it. But Joe Budden's always on the site, which proves that I really have no animosity towards him. But
well, maybe this is clear in the air.
I don't think so. I've said this before. You don't care.
But you never said it with the God. You know what I mean? Now you got the God over with you.
He's actually invited you to his podcast.
Yeah.
You should do it.
He's like, yo, you need to come up.
Yeah, you should do it.
I will probably do it. Hit me up, Joe. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think it's called like I'll name this podcast later or something like.
Oh, yeah?
That's the name of it, yeah. Yeah, I've listened to a few. You know, people hit me, yo, Joe's talking shit about you on his podcast again. I'm like, really, again? It's great. I love it. Did you see how them dudes, like the Drake fans, ran up on Joe's house? Like chased him in his car? Or you didn't see all that? Oh, it was great. They found out where he lived and like
flames.
Followed him to his house, and then he like chased him with like a bag of rocks or something. Like
what? Joe chased him with?
Yeah, it's crazy. There's like memes on it and everything else like that. Oh yeah,
man, I've been out the loop. Maybe I don't know.
Oh man, well them OVO fans, there's something special.
I don't know. I don't know.
Troy Ave, released
Out on bail.
on $500,000 bail.
Mm-hmm.
Heard his mom put the house up or something like that,
Okay.
as she should.
I was gonna say that she
Yeah,
should.
I don't think Troy's gonna try to jump bail.
Nah.
That's not gonna work too well. People know who he is at this point. He's been in too many media outlets to.
But the fact that he got out on bail that's kind of big.
Well,
some people that have just sat there through shit like, man, Bobby Shmurda didn't get out.
yeah, but Bobby actually has
A whole bunch of charges.
a bunch of charges and a bunch of murder charges, and his co-conspirators are getting like 75 years, 58 years. Like someone affiliated with him ended up dead. You know, one of the GS9 guys were actually here, and we talked about that.
When the cops raided, they didn't actually raid at first. They were locking up everybody that left. Everybody that left the studio. Bobby was the first to leave. And we got the call, you know, like, yo, they locking up, they just locked up Bobby. So his brother just went to try to go get him. He like, yo, I'm going to get my brother at the precinct. He tries to go, he gets locked up. Now, after he gets arrested, everybody, the cops start raiding the studio now. This is when they raid the studio, after they lock up the second group.
Okay.
Rush the studio.
He's connected to a bigger situation. I guess that there's a bunch of murders that have to do with it and stuff like that. I don't think Troy's even being charged with the murder. You know, because I guess originally they tried to say that he killed Banger, maybe accidentally or something like that. But now I guess they backed up off it. But what's actually interesting is I saw an interview with Troy Ave's lawyer, and what he's saying is that the problem they're having in his defense is that nobody's coming forward to testify. You know, with all these internet detectives that are going around, there are no human beings that are stepping forward to say what happened. And apparently, he's not naming the shooter either. So that's going to be interesting to see. I mean, because he was right there, I assume. So he probably knows who it is. It's going to be interesting to see whether he's actually going to stand on.
Somebody taught him not to talk under any circumstances, and he's living by that.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people have morals and codes. We said this earlier. You know what I mean? Like good, bad, or indifferent. Just the discipline that it takes to stick by your guns is something that you don't even see that much these days anymore. Like everybody's, watch the first 48. Everybody's just ready to tell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, get you in the room. Soon as the lighter come on, these motherfuckers is telling. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's the easier thing to do. You see, it's easy to do the weak thing, and it's hard to do strong things.
Yeah, I mean, my son, he did 7 years over a crime that his friends committed. He was there. He saw what happened, and he could have gotten off.
I know one of my friends went to jail about that long for a murder he ain't do.
Right, it wasn't even a murder. It was like a cab driver got beat up or something, robbed or something. Yeah, but yeah, he went to jail over something that his friends did. You know, and I'm honestly like, I can't say that I fully agree with what he did, to be honest.
Who?
My son.
Okay.
And that's one of my very close friends. And you know, I'll tell him this, you know, in our next conversation. But over this street code, he didn't say anything. He just had a new baby. So he missed that whole development, the whole 7 years of his oldest son. He missed out on that. He missed out on helping his family financially because he was in jail. You can't, you know, he had a record deal with Violator. He was signed to Violator. Like, he had that verse, you know, my son, lefty, gun up in my right palm. Like people were fucking with him. Like, he was wrong with Mace. He was wrong with Shine. Like, you know, like, he was battling everyone. He was a hot dude in New York. You remember that time. He went to jail, missed out on all that. His rap career never got to that height. Again, he kept rapping, and you know, I still fuck with him, and people still fuck with him, but he never got to that height.
Mm-hmm.
And the dudes who he stood up for, they never came forward and testified for him. They could have actually, at one point, he said there were some talks of them testifying and getting him off early and taking the rap for what really happened, and that never happened. So apart from being looked at in this community as a real street dude, what did that really get him, aside from all that time lost?
And that's the thing, like, see, you know, back in the days when it was like, yo, no snitching and all of that, and if, let's say you in a drug crew and you do the shit, you take the time, but see, your mans would make sure you're good.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna make sure you got money on your books.
Right.
They're gonna make sure your girl and your seed and all of that their rent is paid, and they always got food in the crib, and they ain't wanting for nothing.
Yeah, I don't think any
You understand what I'm saying?
I don't think any of that shit happened with my son. Just quite honestly.
So that's where it stems from. Like you don't snitch because your people's gonna hold you down. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, I don't know where that part got exited, you know.
Right.
They cut the reward for not snitching,
Right.
got cut out, and now all it is saying, just don't snitch because
You shouldn't.
that's some street shit. Don't,
Yeah.
you know?
And it's
But
almost
but the police is offering rewards.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? The police is offering all kinds of rewards. They got money for
Right.
you. So they'll give you a whole nother life if you tell what the fucking really they want you to know.
right. I
So
mean,
it's how could you combat that?
well, I mean, I think it's almost become a threat where it's like, well, if you snitch, we're gonna kill you,
Yeah. But you know what?
or we're gonna kill your family.
I mean, that happens and like that ain't even like how it used to be. Like, niggas used to really get killed for snitching. I know a bunch of snitches walking around the fucking streets right now, ain't nobody touching them.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Where back in the days, these niggas, they would have got out and then you would have never heard of these niggas before. Again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you could talk all that shit, you don't fuck with snitching, and maybe you don't. You know, maybe they're lonely guys, but they still walking around. And I'm telling you, they're not even that lonely. These niggas got friends.
Right.
Okay? These motherfuckers got friends, and they probably know that these motherfuckers snitched. Like, you know what I mean? We living in a different time.
Well, I interviewed AZ Faisan.
I got shot in the head twice, man, and 5 people was in that situation with me. You know, 3 people died, and 3 people lived. I knew exactly who one cat was.
Okay.
I knew, you know, the cat, Kevin Clark, I knew it was him.
The boy, your sister's boyfriend.
Yeah, I knew it was him.
He went and testified against those guys. And those guys went to prison.
Right.
And he, you know, some people don't agree with him, but he stood behind it. He said, well, I never snitched on Rich Porter. I never snitched on Alpo.
Those are people he was working with.
Those people I was working with, but
I wasn't working with these dudes.
yeah, these guys came in, you know, and he helped them dudes. Like the main guy who was robbing them, he gave him a car and gave him some work and stuff like that. But it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. So he felt that there was no problem testifying against these dudes. But, you know, you look at the comments like, oh, AZ's a snitch. Hey, you should have never done that, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, there's certain people I talked to where it was like, you know, like their take was, well, do we know that, like, AZ didn't you know, put hits on other people during that time? And, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you're that heavily in the drug game, you're not just happy-go-lucky and, you know, oh, you robbed me for $50,000. That's okay. Don't worry about it. We just won't do business again. Mm-hmm. You can't sue anybody. You can't press charges. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you talk about cocaine, that's a game that's knee-deep with murder. That's just how it goes. So My friend's take.
Level.
I think it was actually my son. My son was telling me about this. Yeah, my son's take was like, well, you could say that, but he was probably involved in so much shit himself that he shouldn't have been telling on people who was doing that to him. But that's what I'm saying. It's a
slippery slope.
It's a slippery
man.
slope.
Listen, I don't have to worry about shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I decided to not fuck with crime and get into this music shit, because you ain't got to worry about all that type of shit, snitching and all this dumb shit. And, man, fuck all that.
Yeah, man. Honestly, that crime shit is for the birds. I'm sorry that
it's
hip-hop,
for the birds, but we're you see, you're in a system that funnels you there. Like, you have water and it's flowing. Now, if I narrow the channel that it's forced to go through that channel.
Yeah.
So what the fuck are you supposed to do until you redirect the flow?
Yeah.
But we're dealing with a system that intentionally puts the flow to where a high number of, or high percentage of, inner city youth, whatever you want to call them, are forced to do some sort of illegal thing. Even if it's just hopping the fucking train to get to work if you want to.
Yeah, or to school.
To school. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Well, they give free Metro cards to kids.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it only works on the weekdays or whatever at a certain time.
Right.
Anyway, so, yeah, crime is for the birds. Crime is some bullshit, but it's like, a lot of times you're forced into these situations. So what the fuck are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, if you have no other means to make some money and feed your family and survive and all this type of shit, where a lot of people start like that, but then somewhere it goes to a greed level, because at some point you might get all of that you needed, that initial shit, but now you want more and more and more, and now, you know what I mean? And then to get more, you got to do more shit. You know what I mean? And so it becomes a vicious cycle.
Well, I think what a lot of people don't realize, and it took me a long time for me to realize this. When you look at the people who are really wealthy, the Bill Gates of the world, the Warren Buffetts of the world, you start to realize that these people have actually gotten there by doing good business. Because bad business will haunt you. You don't agree? Okay.
Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and all these motherfuckers do things that directly affect the lives of millions of people, actually. These people got mad blood on their hands. It's just that
Warren Buffett and Bill Gates have blood on their hands?
absolutely. Trust me.
How? How does Microsoft kill people?
Because it's the connection. Okay. I said a direct connection. Maybe it's an indirect connection.
Okay,
I'm
explain
sorry.
the indirect connection.
Listen, we'd have to go through so many different levels of. Let me come back with some research on that, and I'll show you exactly how.
Because in fact, Bill Gates is going to go down as possibly the greatest philanthropist of all time.
Okay, let's say
The amount of money he's donated and the amount of work, like his full-time job is giving away money right now.
Right.
He left Microsoft, and Microsoft has essentially gone through the tubes after he left. Microsoft's stock has been flat for like the last 15 years.
Right.
It's got no real leadership.
real quick, but listen. Okay, because I just thought about this. Okay, let's just say a microchip inside a computer, right? Comes from a rural area in the Amazon some fucking where, okay?
Can't really make microchips in the jungle, but
Listen, man, I'm giving you a fucking example of some shit. It doesn't have to be
okay. some foreign country.
some foreign country. Let's say not even let's just say okay, paper.
Okay.
We go and we deforest the whole fucking forest.
Okay.
In the name of doing good business.
Okay.
Yet that deforestation directly led to people losing their natural homes that they was living maybe in the forest at that time. Now you uprooted these motherfuckers. You fucked up the ecosystem. Fucking animals are dying. Now fucking the people that used to hunt these animals, they have less food. They have to go now find another means of fucking supporting themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Everything connects. Like, all of this money shit of the biggest business motherfuckers, they're not clean. Like, trust me, something they did helped kill people. Even if it was, okay, how about this? Even if they took some of their money, supported a certain political
Party.
which then in turn went and bombed some motherfuckers.
Okay.
You're responsible for that. Your money helped that.
Right, but technically both parties have
Yes,
done that shit.
yes.
So no matter who you support
Correct.
anybody, technically you're
Correct.
indirect.
That's why I don't support none of these motherfuckers. But I bet you Bill Gates and Warren Buffett do. I bet you they got so much inside ties to the government. You see, when you get money like that, trust me, you on the inside of a whole lot of shit.
Oh, yeah.
So you might be in on some of the decision making of, listen, we thinking about bombing these motherfuckers. Yay or nay, Bill? Yay. All right, thank you. That's all we needed from you.
I still got that donation coming next week.
Don't I, right? Yeah,
Right.
Of course you do. Thank you. Good day, sir. Bang. You know what I mean? Like, come on, don't act like that shit, that like those guys, and I know Warren Buffett's your fucking hero, but trust me, he got blood on his fucking, on his stock report.
I mean, Bill Gates was responsible for actually wiping out a disease.
Come on, man. That's the shit they're gonna pump up to you. That's the shit they want you to see. Show me the shit they don't want you to see, and I'll show you a whole lot of blood and guts. Okay? Well, you're not gonna find it all on the internet either right now. You'll find all of the good shit that they did.
Malaria. I believe Bill
He
Gates
ain't wipe out no malaria, trust me. He might be trying to do something. Malaria is like probably bigger than AIDS in Africa. So I know he ain't fucking wipe out no goddamn malaria. He might have an initiative that he's trying to get rid of malaria. Am I right?
Well, it's kind of a longer article.
Trust me. And if he did, why is that not the number one story
They've committed
on every news thing?
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation has committed $2 billion
To trying to fight.
combat malaria.
Thank you. So ain't nobody cure shit. That's just an initiative.
They've also committed $1.6 billion to fight Global Fund to fight AIDS.
Good. Good for him. Now, but at the end of the day, do we really know where that money is going, how it's really being spent? Right now, they're telling us that's what it's for. But are you there to see the spend? See, I don't take shit on face value, Vlad.
Glass is half empty for Jamar. all the
No,
time.
not always. I have optimism with certain things. I'm not always going to be pessimistic, but I'm not going to assume, and I'm not going to take things on face value just because this motherfucker tells me that. Like, there's something in war, there's a thing called disinformation, Vlad.
Right.
Like, and that's a war tactic. And in order to get certain things, make certain shit happen, you got to dead-faced lie a motherfucker. Look them right in their face and lie. That's a strategy. That's some Sun Tzu shit, art of war. Like, so don't think that they're not going to do this. And so now they say, yeah, they're taking $2 billion to try to fight malaria, and really 100,000 will go to that, and then the 1.5 billion, will go towards, the destruction of you know,
I don't know.
original
man.
people on this planet.
I looked into their foundation. I mean, it's an interesting foundation, even to the point where the way it's set up is 20 years after both their deaths, the foundation is required to spend all of its money and then cease to exist because they don't want to create an organization.
Spend all this money on what?
On whatever it's been spending on while they were alive. And then at that point cease to exist because they don't want to create an organization that helps certain people get rich off of under the guise of what they're doing. It's essentially, here's the money, we're gonna spend it all, we die, spend the rest, that's it. The whole thing goes away. It's not going to be a thing that just keeps going and
Like
keeps
Will
going.
Rogers and all that type of
Yeah,
shit.
that
Charities,
type of thing.
motherfuckers. Ben was dead. They kept that shit
Right,
going.
exactly. We'd like to thank Audible for supporting this week's episode of The Vlad Couch. Now, look, I love to read a good book, but find the time to sit down and really enjoy one is hard to do with a busy schedule like mine. Now, Audible makes it totally easy for you to enjoy books by listening to them on your time. You can listen to them at the gym, in your commute, in your lunch break, anytime you want. Audible.com provides over 250,000 titles from the leading publishers, broadcasters, entertainers, magazines, newspaper publishers, business information providers, etc. The app is totally free. It works on all Apple devices, even Android and Windows phones. And unlike a streaming or rental service, with Audible you own your books, so you can access them anytime you want, anywhere, right from your smartphone. Now make sure you check out Oprah's Book Club's newest pick, The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. In his sixth novel, Whitehead tells the harrowing story of Cora, an indomitable teenage slave in her desperate bid for freedom from a crazy cotton plantation in Georgia circa 1850. When Caesar, a recent arrival from Virginia, tells her about the Underground Railroad, they decide to take a terrifying risk and escape. Matters do not go as planned. Cora kills a young white boy who tries to capture her. Though they manage to find a station and head north, they're being hunted by slave catchers. But here, the Underground Railroad is no mere metaphor. Literal engineers and conductors operate a secret network of tracks and cavernous tunnels crisscrossing beneath American soil. As Cora travels north, her journey transports her across state lines. And along the way, each state he visits portrays a different state of American possibility, showcasing a kaleidoscope of communities across the country, from a white supremacist enclave in North Carolina to an Indiana black separatist encampment. As readers complete their journey through the Underground Railroad, they can engage online at the Book Club Hub, which is oprah.com/book club. They will also have the opportunity to participate in the book club and answer weekly questions via Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Check the hashtag #Oprah's Book Club for more. Read more on Oprah's interview with Whitehead in the September issue of O, the Oprah magazine, on sale August 9th. Just for listeners of the Vlad Couch podcast, Audible.com is offering a free 30-day trial membership. Just go to audible.com/Vlad today and start your free trial right now. Again, show your support for the Vlad Couch and get a free trial right now at audible.com/Vlad. So in the Democratic National Convention that just passed, Michelle Obama had a speech where she talked about every morning she wakes up in a house built by slaves. Bill O'Reilly chimed in. And Bill O'Reilly,
What that cocksucker had to say.
he said that he went into the history of the White House. I think it was called the Executive Mansion in the beginning. And he said it was built by slaves as well as other, as well as white people and so forth. But he said that the slaves were well fed and adequately housed. People are upset over this right now.
Over what he said.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some real white man shit to say. Like, oh yeah, they were slaves, but they were well fed and adequately housed, so I don't really understand what the problem was. Well, let me put you in slavery then and adequately house you and make you well fed.
Yeah, I guess he was
Off the
saying
innards of the fucking hog. And, yeah, let's see how you fucking like it. Bill? My thing is, as black people, we all waking up in a fucking house built by slaves. America is a house built by slaves. Wall Street was built by slaves.
Yeah.
I mean, so, you know, I like that she said that on that national scale, but shit, we all waking up in a house that was built by slaves. Even white people.
Yeah.
Especially white people.
I mean, in fact, I just interviewed the founders of Cross Colors.
I mean, I was invited to farms where they grew cotton that I'm sure slaves were slaves, because I saw the pictures on the wall where the slaves picked the cotton at the farms. I was probably the first black person to sleep in that house.
Wow.
I mean, from, you know, mills in different parts of the country.
And that was like 1990.
90s.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Right.
The Emancipation Proclamation happened in 1865. So for 130 years, black people weren't even really allowed in these houses still.
Right.
Way past the time of
Right.
slavery.
But the gay rights movement started approximately 1973, and these motherfuckers already could piss in bathrooms alongside women and all kind of shit like that. In less than 40 years.
Yeah.
We've been here 400 years. And in 100-something, 30-something years, a black man couldn't even sleep in this particular crib.
You know, and I just interviewed Akon. Now, I remember you had an interview a while back, and you said that America was never built for black people. Mm-hmm. Can you explain that?
I mean, it's just simple. We weren't. I mean, you gotta understand, black people were shipped here. It ain't like they chose to be here. Trust me, hadn't they not been brought here, they wouldn't be here. They'd be in Africa right now, and this world probably be totally different as far as what happens. America probably wouldn't exist. The way I see it is, it hurts me and pains me a lot that, you know, African Americans constantly complain about how they're being treated in America and how the laws ain't fair and how it don't fit the minorities when they actually can always just go back home.
The world is a place for black people.
But meaning that black people didn't choose to be in America. They were forced.
Well, we didn't choose to be under this system. First of all, there's a lot of evidence that is coming up recently that's showing that we was already here, that we are the fucking Indians. We are the fucking Indians that they found here. And in order to make us not rebel crazily, they made us think we was from somewhere else. Now,
What?
listen. You get here, right? Columbus and them motherfuckers get here. Mm-hmm. They got guns and all of that, so they fucking subdue, you know, the older generation or whatever. But the older generation is always gonna fight and always gonna hold on to their shit. So you go to the next generation now, who doesn't know. We were talking about the disconnect before. Just in one generation, from you know what I mean? One generation, motherfuckers don't know who Big Daddy Kane is. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So imagine you got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 generations. Even in just that one generation, if I separate you from your parent and tell you, you know, you're really from Africa. We stole you from Africa and brought you across the sea and brought you to this land that is not yours. So your land is actually somewhere over there. There's a big percentage. This is why black people and American Indians have always had a certain camaraderie.
You're saying that there were Native Americans that look like they're Africans
Yes.
already in this country.
Yes. And there's statues and all kind of shit to prove it.
But
Even in South America, like, look at some of the statues, the Olmecs, all that type of shit. These motherfuckers have African features, not Hispanic, not Indian, African. So you got to understand, we've been here for so long. I'm saying original people have been here for so long that there's nothing we haven't done and nowhere we haven't been. Okay? There is no fucking place that white people have discovered on this planet. Anywhere that white people have gone, anywhere, they will find the original man was already there.
Well, I'm just saying that Africans look different, look a certain type of way because of the climate of where they live.
First of all, let's
No? You
not
don't think so?
go into just no. It's not just about climate.
Clearly,
no, because
clearly when there is a lot of sun and a lot of heat, you need more melanin in your skin to even survive in that particular region. This is why you have darker skinned people closer to the equator, and you have lighter skinned people farther away from the equator. No, you don't agree with this? This is all bullshit? It's all bullshit. Okay.
Because if you really do your research, there were black people in Europe for thousands, hundreds of thousands of years before there's any record of any white people coming there, and they were still black. What's the geographical weather shit there? Like, white people are an anomaly. Like, they just came onto the scene.
Brand new.
Brand new.
Right. For example, if you put me, like I sunburn, right? You throw me in a hot environment and I ain't got no sunblock, I'm gonna burn. Like I've actually had skin cancer before. You know, I mean, I had to get skin cancer cut out of my face. Like about 5 years ago or something like that. Like, black people don't really go through that because they have melanin.
Well, everybody has melanin. You just have such a low.
Yeah, I have a lot less melanin. I sunburn.
Right.
Black people do not sunburn.
Well,
in general.
Right. You can get burned. I mean, I just went to Jamaica. My shit was a little sore, but it ain't like, you know.
Yeah. Have you ever peeled?
Yeah.
Okay, you peeled. Mm-hmm. I probably peeled more than you have, though.
Oh, of course. Probably. Hell yeah. You probably need all that white shit on your nose
All
and
that
all that
shit.
type of shit.
All
you know?
that shit.
Don't fuck with all that.
I probably
type
got
of shit.
some on right now, actually. So
Yeah,
you know,
once
it's
I had
hot
got
out
a
here.
baldy and shit, and I went on vacation one time, the top of my head
Got burnt.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But you have a lot less melanin
Then let's say a dark skinned person. Yeah, I'd like
someone
to know
from Africa.
if a very dark skinned person burns or peels and stuff like that. And I would say the darker you are, the more resistant you are of the sun, the more
Correct.
better it is for you. Yeah, so me being brown caramel color, only gets me but so far.
Right.
And the lighter you go, the worse it is for you.
Exactly.
But that's not just a climate thing.
No?
No. That has to do with a whole lot of shit. Like, this spiritual shit that goes into this. There's a lot of this mental shit. See, everything starts in the mind first. It's not because I brought my body somewhere that my body's going to start changing just because it's in the place.
Well, your body doesn't necessarily start to change.
My
but
mind
your
starts to
offspring,
change.
Your offspring.
But it's the thinking that creates this. It's not just your offspring being in a certain place.
Well, your offspring, you will have certain, all your children look different, right? You have, 2 kids? Mm-hmm. Your kids do not look identical.
No, but
Your
they look
kids-
similar.
They look similar, but you have even 2 kids from the same set of parents will look different in certain ways. So if you look at natural selection, if you look at Darwin, and you look at all these types of
First of all,
things,
we don't believe in natural selection.
You don't believe in
Man,
that?
Darwin is an asshole. Like, he doesn't know what
You
the
don't
fuck
believe
he's
in that?
talking. No! See, this is all white people putting their people at the pinnacle of science and acting like this is what it is. First of all, they're all theories. And even your man Einstein, the theory of relativity, the Big Bang theory, the theory of natural selection. These are not facts. This is just what white people who have only been on this planet for about 6,000 years have theorized for what they have seen thus far and what they've been able to understand.
well, when you look at animals, like for example, when you look at giraffes, like clearly a giraffe is built a certain type of way because its
So it can
food
get-
source
Right.
is at a certain height. So
Right, but guess what? The animal, the reason why over time it went, because the animal saw, okay, the food is up there. So it started thinking, how do I get to the food? Not just because it's there and the food is up there, so automatically it's going to be tall. The animal started thinking, how do I get to the food? And the mind is what now transformed the body over time through needs. You see what I'm saying? So now, damn, if I only was, you know what I mean? That thought goes into your DNA, and it goes on to the next and the next and the next. And now you eventually get certain modification, and that gets longer over time. And boom, now they're up there to be able to get the motherfucking whatever the fuck it is they eat up in them high-ass trees. But we have to stop thinking that the physical is what comes first. The mental comes first. The mental is what makes everything. The mental is first. Knowledge, then wisdom brings forth understanding. If you put physical before mental, you're going to get a misunderstanding.
Well, I mean, for example, you raise dogs, like you have a pit bull. Like I remember a friend of mine, QD3, was really into.
Yeah, you said he was so into it.
He was so into it, he stopped producing for Tupac. Like,
That's-
he became obsessed.
Yeah.
So I remember we were talking about, one day we were talking about dog fighting, right? And he said that what would happen back in the day when people would fight pit bulls, when the pit bull would turn around and attack the master,
Kill the dog.
they would kill the dog, like right then and there. It was established with all the breeders that this is what you do. All the pit bull fighters would do this. Not that I totally disagree with
Me
fighting
too,
dogs.
me too.
But
I knew some guys
Yeah.
that used to do that too.
they used to do that. And what he said, which I found really interesting, he said that they actually bred that behavior out of that species.
Right.
Out of that breed, because I mean species dogs in general, but out of that breed, by killing off all the dogs that would turn on their master, you would have a species of dog, a breed of dogs that would no longer turn on their master. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Like you could actually do that.
Because look what they're speaking to. They're not speaking to the body, they're speaking to the mind. By shooting the dog, it's telling the next dog, telling their brain, their mind, whatever you want to call it, because some people would beg to differ that a dog has a mind or whatever, but I say they do. I say a plant has a mind. Okay, a rock has a mind.
I don't know about the rock, but
Trust me, rocks are living, and that's part of the problem that white people don't understand.
Okay.
That all things are living.
Okay.
All things. Anyway, so they're speaking to the mind of the dog by the other dog seeing, okay, that motherfucker just got murdered for trying to attack his master. So now he's got to process this in his brain, mind, whatever you want to say. That, again, is recorded in your DNA. DNA is not just a physical thing. It records thoughts and behavior and feelings.
so you're saying all the other dogs that saw this happen go, okay, the dogs that I give birth to ain't gonna do this because I just saw this.
Basically. Well, he's not definitely, that dog's not going to do that. He knows if I do that, I'm going to get fucked up. So now, he don't have, that's just recorded in his DNA. Now, when he has a seed, that seed's going to feel the same way. Nobody has to tell him anything.
Right.
He's just going to feel that. You see? So they instilled that fear in the father, and now it's automatically going to be in the children.
Interesting.
And it's the same thing they did with black people. So now to go back to our original shit, because I'm always going to remember what the foundation is. Yes, there's large evidence that suggests that African people, descendants of Africa, were already here and quite possibly, most likely are, the people that we call Native Americans today.
Okay. But there were still slave ships and everything else like that. Like that part there wasn't made up.
I don't know. I've read
So you're saying all that was,
you know,
was a farce.
Listen,
Oh, that was a story design.
There's been bigger farces and stories, to go around the world.
But they found the actual ships. They found the plans. I believe they did. Yeah. I've been.
I read a lot of stuff.
Hold on. I've actually been to Senegal.
Right, to the place where supposedly
was the distribution center.
Right.
It was the island of Gore, and they had
I know.
the cannons and the cells and everything.
I know.
Okay.
That's the only one I hear about, though. Like, if you think about it.
But it was centrally located on the coast, on the west coast of Africa. You know what I'm saying?
Listen. Or, you know what I like to do? I like to put things out there sometimes so that people will go
and research
themselves. I'm not Sway. I don't have all the answers.
Listen up, because we need help to keep putting out the show you love for free every week. Look, nobody likes filling out surveys, but we need you to do it. It won't take any more than 5 minutes, and besides helping out the show, you'll be entered for a chance to win a $100 iTunes gift card. We know some of you have already done surveys like this in the past, but we really need you to log in and fill this thing out as accurately as possible. Once we know more about you, we'll be able to help deliver the show and sponsors you dream about. Finding sponsors who are a good fit means that we get to give you deals and information on the brands that you care about while keeping the shows free to enjoy every week. If you don't care about helping us or making the show better, do it for a chance to win the free iTunes or Amazon gift card. So please, do us a solid and go to the VladCouchSurvey.com. Again, that's the VladCouchSurvey.com. We were talking about skin complexion and so forth. Azealia Banks recently bleached her skin.
I saw that.
And I remember before she was doing that, she was saying how dudes respect, she was calling it the brown paper bag test. She said dudes respect the brown paper bag, meaning that your skin tone has to be a brown paper bag color or lighter. And she actually defended her doing that and saying that it's no different than getting a nose job or getting a weave.
And yeah, it is no different. I think it's all bad.
I think it's all bad.
It's all a sign of self-hatred. It's all a sign of not being happy with who you truly are.
So you don't believe in weaves?
You don't see me wearing one.
Your wife?
Yeah, but that's her belief. That's not mine.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
You never said, hey, I don't like your weave. I think you should wear your hair natural.
Listen, I'm not the type that's gonna oppress you. You know what I mean? You're gonna do what you want. Like I'm a 5%. My wife is a Christian.
Yeah.
You see, there's some people that be, oh, how the fuck could you be with it? You know what I mean? You God and that. Listen. You do you. Like you don't have to believe everything I believe for me to fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm going to let you know what it is I believe, definitely.
Okay.
You're going to hear that loud and clear. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you the science on weaves and all that type of shit. And if you still choose to wear it, so be it.
So you think wearing a wig or sewing...
Now, there be weave jokes in my house, you best believe. Like, you best believe I be having... You best believe I be having some weave jokes.
Are they unbelievable?
They be unbelievable sometimes. Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
But you really feel that wearing a wig or having a hair extension is the equivalent of actually bleaching your skin? You think that's the same thing?
It all speaks to dissatisfaction. Yeah. It all speaks to, there's just different levels of it.
Yeah.
You see? There's you have slapping somebody and then you have murder. It's all violence.
Yeah.
You see? But there's different degrees. It gets worse and worse as you go on. So now when you're like doing, a wig, lipstick, okay, that's like a slap. You understand what I'm saying? But now when you're cutting your body open to shove tits and asses in it, and now you're fucking, using some shit to lighten your, to me, that's like murder. You're murdering yourself almost. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's extreme violence. That's extreme dissatisfaction.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause it's interesting how skin bleaching is considered bad, but like breast implants and ass implants and all that type of shit is not considered. It's more acceptable. When you
I mean,
think
yes
about
and no. Like I know some dudes that don't like that shit at all. Like
I don't like it at all.
Them fake asses and shit. Like
I don't like it at all.
niggas be in the strip club talking about real ass alert. Like when they see a real
That's me
ass,
right
it's
there.
like
I'm doing
real
that.
ass alert. Like
I'm doing that.
yeah, for real. Because, whoop, whoop, yeah, whoop, whoop, whoop. Because every girl got a waist this thin and the fucking ass out to here. Like,
Right.
come on. Like,
And it's also like what bothers me is like, because I've always liked thicker women, right? A thick girl is not supposed to have this tiny little stomach. It just doesn't look right. You're supposed to have a little bit of a stomach. I like that. I like having a little bit of stomach. I mean, I don't like a huge gut that hangs over your knees, but I mean, like a little
love
bit of-
handle.
some love handles, a stomach. It goes along with the body. When you see these chicks with these huge asses and these thighs, and then this tiny little washboard, not even a washboard stomach because there's no muscles there. It's like it's like a flat, weird looking stomach. It's like, I don't like that. That looks weird. I know you think that's what we want, but I don't like
it looks
that.
deformed.
Looks deformed.
Okay, and it's
Yeah.
like, so you went from hating yourself, but see, it's all how you see it in your mind. Because now, to me, that don't look good, maybe.
Yeah.
You see? But in your mind, you were not happy with who you were before, and this is what you was going for.
Yeah.
Whereas I might have been more happy with you prior to that, and now maybe I'm not so happy with how you look. You know what I mean? But at the same time, that's no hatred towards you or anything like that. Like, you do you. Everybody has to make their own choices and all of that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to say, where did these choices come from? What influenced you to feel that way? You know what I mean? Why don't you look at that first before we jump out a window, spending all this money and, altering ourselves to beyond recognition?
Yeah.
Why don't we just look at why are we unhappy with ourselves?
Real talk. So, we had an interview with Boosie where he said that
they're trying to make everybody fucking gay. That's what I think. They're putting it on our culture. They're putting it everywhere. Gay stuff is everywhere, And I think they're just trying to do it to make a monetary gain. They're not doing it for the gays. They're not really fans of the gays. They're doing it for monetary gain, man. They're trying to make money off these people, man. You got cartoons they have gays on cartoons. Like, these are kids. Let kids make their own decision if they want to go that way.
Like, I totally understand what Boosie was saying. But the thing is, when you're dealing with these tricksters and, especially these tricksters of language, you have to be very precise with what you say. I believe that Boosie, his intention of what he wanted to say was that TV is influencing kids, is trying to influence kids to be gay. Once he said the word make, that's when they got on him.
right. Well,
That's when they jumped on him to try to make him seem absurd.
right. And what he's saying is that you have these young minds who are
They're
developed
impressionable.
yet, and they're seeing this type of thing.
And they shouldn't be seeing it.
Now,
And
here's-
he's right.
Here's what's happened since. The California State Board of Education approved an LGBT class curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new Nickelodeon cartoon which will feature a married gay couple.
Right, and Wayne Brady is one of the voices. That's why he was commenting on this.
Uh-huh.
It's an interracial gay couple. So he's the black one.
Oh.
And so they brought him in to talk about what Boosie had said. And then one of the first, and I knew he was going to do this. He said, first of all, Boosie's like, he said, such as is making our kids, and he put the making our kids gay. You see, you got to, you know what I mean? You got to be careful with what you say, how you say it. Pick your words correctly. When you see me talking on here a lot of times, you'll see me go, my eyes will roll up in my head for a second sometimes because I'm thinking. I'm not just blurting shit out. Not to say that he was blurting shit out, but you have to be very careful with the words you pick. And making as opposed to influencing was the thing when I saw the shit about Wayne Brady. That's what he was able to really jump on. You know what I mean? To try to make Boosie, look
crazy,
basically.
Because, for example, Jaden Smith recently said that he wears a skirt so kids won't get beat up in 5 years for doing so.
It sounds good. It sounds like a line from a movie. You know what? I wear a skirt so that kids 5 years from now won't have to. The fuck out of here. You wear a skirt because you're a fucking weirdo and your fucking parents gave you no fucking guidelines. That's why you wear a fucking skirt. Are you fucking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. Like you're some martyr or champion of this new age or some shit like that. Like, you wear a skirt because you're helping in the effemination of not just black men, but really all men in this society. You're part of the plan.
Right, because, Young Thug had a Calvin Klein advertisement. He was
Right.
wearing a dress, and they actually put a billboard up, I think, in New York. He's saying there's no such thing as gender. Which to me is kind of crazy, obviously.
Like, think about it. Like, do you really believe in your heart of hearts that somebody are not telling these people to do and say these things? Like, what nigga, what real live motherfucker do you know that's in the hood just sitting around philosophizing saying, hey, you know what? There's really no such thing as gender. Like, that's some bullshit right there. Somebody fed that to you. You know why? Because I heard that before from some other, propagandist that they have out there. They know this man is influential. He got a lot of people following him. Let's give him the code words to say. There's no such thing as gender. Of course there is. You got a dick, right?
But he has kids.
Right.
Clearly, you can't make kids.
And when your kid comes out, you either got a boy or a girl.
Or a hermaphrodite.
Which is very, very rare.
Yeah, usually you'll have
Which
a
is very rare.
You'll have a miscarriage.
So rare that it's not even worth talking about. That's how rare it is.
Yeah.
So either you're going to have a boy or a girl. You're not going to say, I have a thing. You know what I mean? Or I just have a baby. I brought my puppy in here. The first thing everybody want to know, what is it, a boy or a girl?
There is no gender. Don't ask.
What are you trying to pin my dog down to a gender? You trying to make my dog gender specific? Like, come on, yo. It's fucking stupid. Of course there's gender. And gender ties into sexuality and all of that. And they're trying to separate. See, it's all about separation. The more you divide, the more you can conquer. So let me separate gender from sexuality, from man, from woman, from, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of these separations. So now I got y'all motherfuckers isolated, and it's better for me to attack that way. How do they question people in the police? If me and you was Cody's, they're going to put us in separate rooms.
Yeah. Yeah, I've gone through that before. Well, since last time we talked, there was the Baton Rouge and the Dallas shootings that happened.
There's been a lot more than that. A priest just got his throat cut the other day.
Yeah.
The shit in France with the truck.
Well, in Dallas, the guy ended up killing 5 police officers and wounding 12 others.
Allegedly. Because unlike the 2 videos which supposedly started all this, where we saw the 2 black men die before our eyes.
Yeah.
Like literally, we saw the life leave from their bodies.
Yeah.
On video. I didn't see nothing like that with the police.
I saw one video of like the dude running and shooting like the cops and stuff like that.
No. Listen. I'm saying the type of video.
Yeah.
Close up. I had one where the dude was right there and the police shot my man with the red shirt on the ground, was under the car, had nothing in his hand. That shit was so close and clear as day. Then I saw the other one with the sister who happened to, who did the Facebook live stream and shit.
Yeah. You know something? I couldn't even watch that because there was like, I guess, a baby
Yo,
in
I
the
didn't even
back
know
seat.
there was a baby in the back seat to the end. So now check it. So
I
that's
couldn't-
another
I couldn't
one.
bear
That's
myself.
another one. I mean, it was framed probably just as close as I'm framed right now in this fucking shot.
Yeah.
And I seen both of those dudes lose their life in front of me.
Yeah.
The only thing I saw the police getting shot was a nigga Call of Duty to the police. The police was hiding behind a barrier. First of all, the camera was mad far away.
Right.
So far away that I don't really know what the fuck happened. Looked like a nigga faked them out, faked the police, went this way and then came around and brow. And hit him. The police went down. What I'm saying is it's so far away, I didn't see no blood. I didn't see this man, go from live to dead in front of my eyes the same way I was assaulted with those images. Like, I know those guys are dead. That could have been a fucking, a scene in a movie. The other one with the police getting killed could have been a scene in a movie for all I fucking know. Because it was so grainy and far away, and with all the cameras, all the security shit, how come we didn't get one video, not one, of one of those police dying? Is it because their life is more sacred than the other brothers? Because that's the kind of aura, the kind of energy they try to put around it. They try to put around the energy that those police officers who so-called died, and I'm going to keep saying so-called because I saw these guys get killed, didn't see these guys get killed. I'm taking your word for it again, and I don't take their fucking word for shit. So I'm going to say allegedly. How come we don't get not one of those? Not even from a bystander.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they had cleared out the area. It was like at that point, it was like a war zone that was happening.
man, somebody would have caught something somehow.
What do you feel? I mean, what do you think of Michael Jordan donated $2 million to an Institute of Community Police Relations and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund? And this is like the first time he's done anything like it.
So I just heard something I didn't even know. They just said, somebody just said the other day, Michael Jordan's trying to be black now, some shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck y'all talking about?
Yeah, that's what they're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, he donated $2 million. $2 million to Michael Jordan.
Ain't shit.
Ain't shit.
That's like 25 cents
Let me see how much
to
he's
you
worth.
and I.
Michael Jordan's worth
$4 billion.
$1.14 billion.
So $2 million, nigga, we could blow that at the club.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Real quick. He probably
we
spends
wanted
that in flights. A few private flights will probably.
Golf, couple golf outings.
Yeah, I mean, people weren't super impressed by this thing. And he said something. I mean, he said, as a proud American, a father who lost his own dad in a senseless act of violence, and a black man, I have been deeply troubled by the deaths of African Americans at the hands of law enforcement, angered by the cowardly and hateful targeting and killing of police officers. I agree with the families who have lost loved ones, as I know their pain all too well. It's really interesting to me how he's playing both sides. He's talking about black men losing their lives at the hands of cops, and he's talking about cops losing their lives at the hands of black men. So he's donating to both, which almost negates it, I feel, in a way. Like he's not taking a stand either way.
No, doesn't sound like it to me. You trying to play defense, like, you know.
He said, I was raised by parents who taught me to love and respect people regardless of their race or background, so I am saddened and frustrated by the divisive rhetoric and racial tensions that seem to be getting worse as of late. I know the country is better than that, and I can no longer stay silent. We need to find solutions and ensure people of color receive fair and equal treatment, and that police officers who put their lives on the line every day to protect us all are respected and supported. So he's supporting the police as much as he's supporting
and you can't,
people
like,
of
at
his
some
own kind.
point, you're going to have to choose. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Well, he goes on. He goes, over the past 3 decades, I've seen up close the dedication of the law enforcement officers who protect me and my family.
right,
I have
because
the greatest,
you got money.
Right. I have the greatest respect for their sacrifice and service. I also recognize for many people of color, their experience with law enforcement have been different than mine.
Totally different.
I have decided to speak out in the hope that we can come together as Americans and through peaceful dialogue and education, achieve constructive change. To support the effort, I am making a contribution of $1 million each to 2 organizations. The International Association of Chiefs of Police's newly established Institute for Community Police Relations.
So he even rode the fence with the money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the NAACP Legal Defense Fund.
Right, okay.
The Institute for Community Police Relations policy and oversight work is focused on building trust and promoting best practices in community policing. By donation to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund, the nation's oldest civil rights law organization will support its ongoing work in support of reforms that will build trust and respect between communities and law enforcement. Although I know these contributions alone are not enough to solve the problem, hope the resources will help both organizations and make a positive difference. Yeah, he's riding the fence both ways. He's not trying to be anti-police.
And if you think about it, hold up. He gave money to the chiefs of police, yes?
Something like that, yeah.
And then the
Association.
NAACP Legal Defense Fund.
Yeah.
So you give money to the chief of police, they can now use that money to be proactive as far as maybe buying more guns, cars.
Well, I mean, it's...
Just listen, let me finish the thought. They could spend that money basically however the fuck they want. Okay?
Technically.
And they could spend it on more handcuffs, more jail cells. For all you understand what I'm saying? But now, when you try to give it to the people, you give it to the defense fund. You didn't give it to, like, some shit that will help prevent brothers from even needing a defense. You giving it to motherfuckers that already fucking behind some shit. Already got charges and all this type of shit, and you're gonna help them try to, I guess, defend themselves legally against the police. But you understand what I'm saying? Like, give me something that's going to prevent a problem. I don't need Band-Aids for after the fact. We need preventive medicine. And see, that's another, like, bad American ideology. Is to deal with something once it's in crisis mode. Like, nobody just wants to eat healthy and exercise and all of that so that you don't get cancer. You know, they want to fucking do whatever the fuck they want to do, and then when they get cancer, now you want to go to the hospital, to the Sloan Kettering and all this other shit to try to get rid of it. But, like, preventive measures are the smartest way to go. So put your money to something that's going to help prevent what's going on.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to Band-Aid it. And that's just some Band-Aid shit right there.
What do you think about the whole situation?
Man, my point of view, man, I really feel like they tried to paint a bad picture on my brother and try to make him look like he was a hater. It was some envy, jealousy type shit, you know what I'm saying? And actuality, you know what I'm saying? Bro been having this shit, man. He been in the condo. I got my hat on and I had my Coke bottles up under my hat. And I'm sitting at the dinner table like an asshole with the hat on, knowing she gonna tell me to take it off. And I'm just sitting there just
garping down, you know, in my zone. She said, take that goddamn hat off at the dinner table. I'm like, come on, mom. Coke everywhere.